Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. Not the result we wanted against Arsenal, an unfortunate result. Unfortunately, we are now third in the Premier League. It's a bitter pill to swallow. I am about to do the player ratings, but for the first time I'm going to introduce the match statistics because I do think we need to add some perspective to what went on yesterday and to the player ratings, because each player ratings that I give are a reflection of these match statistics that I'm going to give you and an indication that the game was an even game. It wasn't a foregone conclusion, and some of the City fans and some of the opinions of the City fans, which you are more than entitled to, I welcome your opinions, but some of them are absolutely diabolical. Completely disagree with a lot of City fans that I saw. The word shite, that the team was shite, the team were below par, unacceptable. We're the treble winners. How can we afford to lose a game like this? Like, what, did we not lose any games last season? I'm pretty sure we did. Pretty sure we lost to Spurs. Pretty sure we went away to Copenhagen and drew 0-0. Away to Borussia Dortmund and drew 0-0. Went away to Old Trafford and lose the game, albeit an offside decision, but didn't play well. Didn't play well at all. Pretty sure Brentford did the double over us, you know. And Everton coming to the Etihad, taking points off us, you know. Plenty of results went against us last season and we won the treble. Yeah, you're right. You can highlight that we won the treble, but there were plenty of poor performances and results like this. That doesn't mean, oh, it's shit, well, that everyone's poor, like all of the players, this, that and other, individualising performances from a team perspective when the game was even. I mean, Arsenal won the game off a fluke. It was a complete fluke. If that hits Nathan Ake in the face 9 times out of 10, that's not going to go in the back of the net. It was just unlucky. And here are the match stats. I'm going to give them to you now because it highlights how even this game actually was. 49% possession and 51% for City. 12 shots in total for Arsenal to City's 4. That immediately, I'm sure some of you are going, oh my God, they had 12 shots. Oh my God, and City only had 4. Yeah, no, there is a problem. Definitely, and I'll get onto that. Creativity is lacking right now, and it was lacking in some games last season. We got knocked out by Southampton in the League Cup. We got battered by them, you know. Let's calm down a little bit. Calm down. Results have happened like this before. It's nothing, no need to shit the bed, you know. Some of you need to wind your necks in a little bit, recognise what's going on, recognise what the team has done, against results like this, following results like this, and know full well that Pep Guardiola as manager will find a way. The club will find a way. There's no need to panic just yet. Anyway, shots on target, 2 for Arsenal, only the 2 on target, and 1 for City. So here's where the game changes. Expected goals. Arsenal only had 0.39. We had 0.48. So we had a higher XG than they did. Big chances created. 0 for Arsenal. They win the game 1-0. We had 2. You know, 500 passes, 521 passes for City, 8 fouls to their 7 fouls, 2 yellow cards to our 3. That's as even as it gets. That's an incredibly even game, you know, and little moments have decided this game. That one particular moment where a deflected goal could have gone anywhere, really unfortunate. Ruben Diaz's own goal against Wolves could have gone anywhere. That's just a bit of bad luck. Now, there are elements to City's game that absolutely need addressing. The creativity is an issue and the system isn't working at the minute. You know, and who's the man to fix that? Pep Guardiola. You know, and I think we should be looking at Pep, not blaming Pep, but some of this needs to land at his doorstep. You know, we can't be individualising players and ignoring the statistics and the way the match flowed and the tactics that are on show are not working right now. And it's a very narrow system that City are playing. It's nullifying chances for Erling Haaland. And I think the two defences both played reasonably well. Defensively, both teams played very well. Anyway, moving on. Ederson, let's have a look. 90 minutes played, 56 touches, 81% passing accuracy, a save, no punches of clearance, aerial duels. I mean, very little for him to do. 2 shots on target. There's one of them being saved. The other one goes in the back of the net, deflected, you know. Unfortunate for Ederson that he's got to pick the ball out of the back of the net, but I thought he deserved to be on a clean sheet. I thought he deserved a clean sheet. I tell you who didn't deserve a clean sheet, Raya, because he was dodgy in that first half. He tried to gift us goals at times. He was giving it away left, right and centre, and it's a matter of time. If he continues playing like that, David Raya, he will cost them goals, because Ederson doesn't make mistakes like that. You know, he got away with murder, Raya did yesterday. He really did, and that's papered over some cracks, and hopefully those cracks will expose themselves later into the season. Ederson, on the other hand, I don't think he had a bad game, 6.5 for Ederson. Kyle Walker, an interesting role for him yesterday, having to go up and down the pitch once again. Asking him to get crosses in, which is why I've added that crosses to successful crosses in the statistics for him. He only got one cross in, and it wasn't completed. You know, it was an unsuccessful cross. 59 touches, played the full game, 91% passing accuracy, 2 tackles, an interception, 2 clearances, aerial duels, got one of those. A defensive performance is what you want from Kyle Walker, and that's why I keep throwing in the defensive stats for defenders, because guess what they're meant to do? Defend. Shock horror. You know, that's what they're meant to do. And asking Kyle Walker to get forward like that, and I'm seeing enough of it now. I'm starting to think, Pep, if you want Kyle Walker to do that role, I understand what went on in the summer, and you want to make sure you keep things sweet with Kyle Walker because he had his head turned by Bayern Munich. He wants more minutes. I understand that, but now it's like, well, what's he actually offering going forward? You know, if you're asking him to go forward, where's our creativity? Because he ain't delivering. You know, and that's not his fault. You know, you're putting a square peg in a round hole. So Kyle Walker, that's not his game. He's a defender, and a fucking good one. You know, a brilliant one. And there's your defensive stats. But going forward is not his game. And yesterday he has to go forward. And again, I don't think he played badly, but 6.5 for Kyle Walker. Again, I don't think he played badly. Ruben Diaz, on the other hand, I don't think he had his greatest game. A little bit sloppy. There's your percent. Normally that's 95, 96, Ruben Diaz. And I thought he was sloppy on the ball yesterday. 87% pass. I mean, still not bad, is it? 87%. But 92 touches, 87%. 1 aerial duel when in the defensive stats are not there, are they? They're not there, you know. And he's not doing the defensive duties that he's normally asked to do. Was he asked to do that much defending yesterday? Do you remember Nketiah getting the ball and going, oh shit, Nketiah's in on goal? No. How many chances did Arsenal genuinely get? And anything that did come our way was dealt with by one particular player that I'm going to get onto in a minute. But 1 aerial duel, no tackles, no interceptions, a clearance and a block shot. I've got to give him a 5.5. I felt Ruben Diaz was a bit sloppy yesterday, dropped below his usual standards. So an unfortunate game for Ruben Diaz. Nathan Ake, I'm going to go straight to the score, and I know a lot of people are going, how dare you give him a higher score than Ruben Diaz? Well, his job's not to score goals. He missed that absolute sitter. Should be putting that in the back of the net, and I'm not that fussed if you are a defender or an attacker. That was a big chance. That was one of our big chances that he spurned early on in the game, but that's not his job. If we're turning at the end of a game to Nathan Ake, who's missing a chance, and blaming him for the result because he missed a chance, then we have, where do we turn after that? Because he's a centre back or a left back, and we're blaming the result on him missing a chance. That's not the team needs to be creating more chances. The team, key word, the team needs to be creating chances, not blaming it on Nathan Ake missing the one chance that he had in the game. And he should be burying it, don't get me wrong, he should be absolutely putting that in the back of the net. But other than that, I thought he did all right. Okay, not too bad at all. 74 touches, 91% passing accuracy, 3 tackles, 2 clearances. There's your 1 shot not on target and no block shots. So I think statistically, he's just a little bit better than Ruben Diaz was yesterday. On the ball, he was okay as well, so I've given him a 6. Yosco Rating, I thought he was really good. Really good. Man of the match from a City point of view. That's who I've given as the man of the match for this game. 65 touches, 71% passing accuracy, 2 crosses, non-successful, and there's that same issue that we had with Kyle Walker on the other side, because yesterday it was Kyle Walker going forward and Yosco Rating going forward down the left-hand side. Again, you're putting a square peg in a round hole. That's not his game. We didn't sign him for creativity. You know, he's not going to fill that void of someone who's able to create chances for Erling Haaland or Julian Alvarez. That's not his job. He was getting forward and getting the ball into dangerous areas, but not successfully. 2 crosses, non-successful. That's not his game. But look at those defensive numbers. 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, 2 tackles, and a block shot. That's a defender. That's an outright defender. You know, that's a proper defensive performance. So I've given him a 7. And even on the ball, I thought he was good at carrying the ball. That 71% passing accuracy needs to sort that out, though. That's a bit wayward with the passing. But I thought he was carrying the ball really well. And I thought he had a good game, Gvardiol. Kovacic, 5.5 I've given him. Not his greatest performance. And if you want to talk about creativity, he is lacking in that department, you know, the box-to-box midfielder that we want from him, because really Bernardo Silva was playing more of the defensive midfielder role than he was. You want to see him get forward a little bit more and offer a little bit more at the other end of the pitch. I don't think he was too bad defensively. Probably should have been, not probably, almost definitely should have been sent off, because that second yellow card was, it was a yellow card. Come on. It was almost identical what he did for the first one, which to me is that was a real low footballing IQ moment, really lacking in intelligence in that moment, to go flying in 5 minutes later after you've been booked like that with your studs showing. Stupid, really stupid, and got away with it, thankfully. 46 touches, 97% passing accuracy, and 4%, 4 times he lost the ball. So he's keeping the ball well, but going forward, no key passes, no shots, and no dribbles. That's what you want to see. But defensively, 3 tackles. So it's okay, but I do think I just want to see more from him, and that really that score would be lower because it could have been a red card, should have been a red card, and just because of that moment of stupidity, I think I've got to knock him down and his lack of creativity going forward. So 5.5 for Kovacic. Rico Lewis statistically didn't do as well as I thought. To the naked eye, I thought he did all right. I thought he did quite well. He involved himself a lot in the game, more so than Kovacic did. In a positive sense, but still struggled. I don't think he could impact the game as much as I thought he could have done. He only played 68 minutes, 36 touches in that time, 91% passing accuracy, no key passes, a tackle, block shot, nothing on target, and he only lost the ball 4 times, similar to Kovacic. I can only give him a 6. Bernardo Silva, I thought he did well. I thought he did okay to the point of having to do so many roles. Again, these players are now having to show their versatility, not just over the course of the season, over the course of 90 minutes. You've got to play in multiple positions depending on how the game's panning out. I don't have any idea what Pep was thinking, really, in playing him in that particular role. I understand it came from a control point of view, but there's other players that could have popped into there. I could have seen Kovacic go into there and Bernardo Silva be further ahead. Why does he trust Bernardo Silva more than Kovacic in a control sense in that defensive midfield role? And then what you're sacrificing from Bernardo's game at the other end of the pitch, because he's a creative player. So to play him so deep was the surprise. And Kovacic could have played that role and pushed Bernardo Silva a bit more further up the pitch to maybe pose a threat going the other way. But again, Bernardo Silva did his job, and he did a fucking good one as well. Considering that's well out of his depth, not really out of his depth, but out of his comfort zone. That's probably the best way to describe it, because that's not his usual position, really. 74 touches for Bernardo Silva, 95% passing accuracy is really good, but the creativity is lacking. You can see it there, 0 passes, no shots on target, but defensively, they're defenders' numbers, aren't they? Block shots 2, 3 tackles, and he only lost the ball 4 times in a position that was difficult, a really difficult position. So I've given him a 7. Phil Foden, another 7. I thought he did okay. He, again, defensively, look at that, defensive performances again. It was a very defensive game, both teams defensively. We didn't set out to defend and protect. That's not what we set out to do. We set out to control the game. Arsenal did the same. If you go and look at their stats, Arsenal stats, all their defenders have the highest numbers, the highest rated scores. They do. Their defenders do, not their attackers. And same for City. Our best play came from the back. And that's not because the two teams set out to defend, it's because the two teams set out to control. And it became a very even game, and it was decided by one mental moment that was a deflected goal. Phil Foden, 90 minutes, 56 touches, 79% passing accuracy, 2 key passes, 2 clearances, 2 tackles, and 4 dribbles, and that's 16 times possession lost isn't good. It's really not good, and I think he needs to improve on that aspect of the game. But he was one of the few players in midfield that was getting forward. Key passes is an indication there. He was giving it away a little bit. I thought he was trying stuff. The Phil Foden was trying to do something creatively. He wasn't coming off, but I like the attempts from Phil Foden. He was the one player in midfield that was genuinely trying to create something and trying to have that little spark in midfield, hence the 2 key passes. So I've given him a 7. Positive thinking. It could have been a bit lower for Phil Foden, a little bit on the generous side considering how many times he gave the ball away, but still, it's for the attempts to create is why I've given him a 7. Alvarez, poor game. I don't think he could impact the game very much. I think the substitution was less surprising. Now I've watched the game back, I'm less surprised that he took Alvarez off and kept Haaland on. Now I think, what was Haaland offering? Okay, well, the issue isn't so much what was Haaland offering, it was what was Alvarez offering. Very little in this game. Now, in terms of credit in the bank, last season, Haaland's got plenty of credit in the bank. This season, Alvarez has arguably got more credit in the bank than Haaland has. I mean, he scored less goals than him, but in terms of impact, this season, Alvarez has been the better player out of Haaland and Alvarez. Definitely. But yesterday, in that one particular game, I don't think Alvarez had a very good game at all, and he was struggling to impact the game. He was stifled out of it. 30 touches he only had, in an attacking midfield role. 69% passing accuracy, sloppy, 12 possession lost, sloppy. 2 shots, none on target, sloppy. Dribbles, none. And 2 clearances, throw that in there because another defensive stat that's high, surprisingly high for players in these positions, you know. But I think he struggled to impact the game. What you would argue is, well, take Haaland off and put Alvarez in that position. Well, the issue wasn't Haaland missing chances because he wasn't getting any. Alvarez in that same position wouldn't get a chance. He wouldn't get any chances. So to take Haaland off, I mean, you're hoping you get one chance. And if you're going to have a ball drop to anyone for one chance, you'd still pick Haaland. Right now, even though Alvarez is playing as well as he is, you'd still pick Haaland. Put money on it. You know, let's say put your house on it. If you had to put your house on who would score a one-on-one situation out of Alvarez and Haaland, I think you'd pick Haaland, you know? I think you have to pick Haaland. The guy's got a proven track record that we've never seen before. So Haaland's a subject I'm going to get onto a completely separate video that you'll be seeing that tomorrow. But that's a separate subject, to be honest. So 5.5 for Julian Alvarez. Now on to Erling Haaland. 90 minutes, 23 touches, 69% passing accuracy, the same as Alvarez. Exactly the same. 2 key passes, aerial duels, 2. Decent from Erling Haaland. No shots at all. So Alvarez was getting shots away, albeit outside the box. Haaland had no shots. And that's credit to Arsenal. They killed him. They killed him in the game. Saliba and Gabriel defended so well against Erling Haaland. He had no chances. And he only lost the ball 8 times. And a dribble, 1 successful compared to Alvarez's 0. So I've given him a 6. I think he played better than Alvarez. He did. But, I mean, it's not his fault he's not getting chances. It's not his fault. And we'll get onto that tomorrow. Doku, poor impact. Don't think he had a good enough impact coming off the bench. I mean, to lose the ball 8 times in that 22 minutes that he came on is worrying. You know, he needs to reduce that. A little bit sloppy on the ball. 22 touches in that 22 minutes. 67% passing accuracy, which is the lowest in the team. 5 dribble attempts. Only 1 of them was successful, which is not what we signed him for. We signed him for 4 out of 5, potentially 5 out of 5 for Doku. You know, his stats were off the charts when we first signed him. When we first signed him as a Manchester City player. But now, yesterday, he struggled to beat his player. At times, he was dribbling it out from the back. But there you go. I said it in the watch-along that I think Jeremy Doku can play right wing-back. Do what Kyle Walker's doing. You know, this role that of Kyle Walker has got right now, I think Jeremy Doku can do it. And I've put those defensive stats in there because they, in 22 minutes, are incredible defensive stats. But not what he came on the pitch for. He came on the pitch to win the game. You know, instead, he had to do defensive duties because of the way the game panned out. 4 tackles, 2 interceptions and a clearance. That's incredible. So really good defensive performance, but going the other way, he was poor. He was poor. He couldn't create anything. He struggled to link up with any of the players that were around him. He was giving the ball away too frequently and dribbling in places he shouldn't even be trying to dribble out from his left-back position at times. But again, people did laugh at me at the watch-along about bringing him on as a right wing-back. I think he can do it, and I said that when we first signed him. I think he can do it, and I stand by that. Matias Nunes, I'm a fan of Nunes. I think there's a player in there. I think he brings on creativity, and I think the reason he came on was because Alvarez wasn't having his greatest day in the office. I thought it was a poor performance from Alvarez, and Nunes coming on almost played in that Alvarez role in the hope that Nunes would create something for Erling Haaland. That was the intention and the thinking behind Pep Guardiola. Had to be that thinking, as well as Doku, obviously hopeful as well. Neither of those panned out that well, but in terms of what Nunes did on the pitch, I thought he was okay. Not great, not brilliant, not poor either. 95% passing accuracy, which is really good with the 25 touches that he had. No key passes, no shots, 2 tackles, he lost the ball 4 times and he beat a player once with the 1 time that he tried to do it. So I've given him a 6. John Stones, another 6. Final player to go through. 11 touches, which is very minimal, really, considering he was right bang in the middle of the pitch. But he came on and he was cool, a bit too cool at times. 91% passing accuracy, 0 key passes, 0 shots, 0 tackles. He lost the ball once, which is good. Nice reassured performance there in that 22 minutes that he had. Could have seen him get involved a little bit more with only 11 touches, but still only 6 for John Stones. But ultimately, I think the team needs to be looked at. The system needs to be looked at. I'm sick of hearing individuals being blamed because it wasn't an individual performance, that any standout player that needs to be highlighted as a problem. The Haaland debate is an interesting one, but that's not a result of Erling Haaland. Haaland is still Erling Haaland. He's been Erling Haaland all season. The system is now different. players being missing like Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri is obviously going to impact how the game pans out. Absolutely. But there's no reason to just blame Erling Haaland for not scoring a goal when he gets 0 shots, 0 attempts on goal. There's something else underlying. There's an underlying problem right now at City, and there's no reason to think that we won't fix it just because we've lost a game. I know we lost against Wolves and we lost against Newcastle as well. Not ideal. It is poor form. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is poor form. But we were here last season. We played poorly in games last season. Worse, arguably, last season. This is a better start than last season. I feel much better. Some of the performances in those first 6 games were really reassuring. Less so now, of course, but to write them off and to be so damning in some of the criticism that I've seen is really surprising from some of you. It really surprises me. But still, once again, I'm happy to hear those opinions and get them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Drop a like on the video. Not the most positive video I've ever done, in truth, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to bring the facts and give you my honest opinion. So with that in mind, drop a like on the video. It would be hugely appreciated. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now.